Ooh. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Matasya Shishyam Sri Shankaracharya Matasya Padma Padam Chahastamalakam Chashishyam Tam Totakam Vartika Karamanyan Asmadgurun Santatamanatosmi Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. I'm not able to see anyone of you sitting there. Three of you. You can come this side if you can. Yeah. So here in the verse number 37, I think that's where we completed, where the state of the mind of the student who is submitting to the teacher about his present condition. And he says that I am presently drowning or being burned in the samsara, Dhruvara samsara davagni taptam in the 36. Dhotu yamanam dhrutashtavadaihi Beetam prapannam paripaki mrityoho sharanyamanyat yadaham na jani. So saying that I am burning, like here, the too much of heat is burning me also. Burning here, and not only that, this fire is being fanned by the wind of change. Dhotu yamanam duradrishtavadaihi. Duradrishta. Duradrishta means unfortunate calamities. And I was just thinking today, somebody, they said, was somebody who just walked in, small girl said, Happy New Year. So then I asked her, if somebody asks you how to become happy in the new year, what is your answer? Then it happened to Gurudev once when he was leaving from a ticket counter. And then that person casually said, "Have a nice day." He turned around. How? Tell me how. He had no answer for that. He said, "I don't know." Then why are you saying that? Have a nice day. You must have an answer for that. Change brings unhappiness. It may sometimes brings happiness, but most of the time it brings unhappiness because unexpected. Most of the changes that take place in our life are not that we anticipate. Correct? Maybe physical change or economic change and share market changes and political change and so many changes. Now the weather changed and then the disease has come. I was just thinking about it. Change, when it happens unconsciously, it brings uncertainties. But the change that we bring in consciously should bring happiness. Change we cannot stop. But whether it is to be unconscious change or a conscious change is our choice. When we make conscious changes in our life, then there is a very high likelihood of there being of the nature of improvement, progress. And progress is always a conscious uplifting of oneself that would definitely bring success and joy. So here he says duradrishtavadaihi. Duradrishtavada means duradrishta. Unfortunate calamities. These are all the ones which are fanning this fire of what? Fire of existence. Vitam prapannam. Therefore, I, the one who is now so afraid and surrendering to you, paripahi mrityoho, from that state of death. So that is why we saw here, Sarira Utkramana Rupa Maranam na sambhaved iti bhava. You know, see, what is death? Death is an unstoppable event wherein an individual, according to one's own karma, action, one's own knowledge, will proceed on to the next life. And that on which we have no choice. To go or not to go, we have no choice. To live or not to live, we have no choice. But there is choice. What choice? When a person, it is said in our scriptures, when a person realizes the highest truth, such a person does not leave this physical body. Meaning, does not leave the physical body means body will die, but he will not go in search of another body to be born. Na pranaha ukramanti tasya. That is what is called Jivan Mukti or Videha Mukti. Videha Mukti means while living, when a person is living in such a great freedom and happiness, is called Jivan Mukti. After leaving the body, he does not anymore have the rebirth, that is called Videha Mukti. Videha Mukti means the liberation beyond the physical body. So what he is asking for that is, Natasya prana utkramanti atreva samavaniyanti. Samyak avaniyanti. It is true. Because dhruvam janma mritasya, by rule, a thing, a person who is dead is subject to birth, is subject to birth, is subject to death. This kind of marana abhave janma abhavasya siddhatvat. There's no such a maranam for a person who has realized the truth. That is what I want from you. Janma marana pravaha rupa asarat samsarat muktaha bhavami bhavat anugrahye. By your grace, may I gain that knowledge by which I will no more have to go through this constant change of samsara. So, Bhavadanyam Sharanyam Mad Rakshakam Yat Yasmat Aham Najani. And for that, the gain that knowledge, other than you, I do not have anybody else who can bring me this correct knowledge. Therefore, Sharanyamanyat naha aham jani. I do not know who else to ask this. In Kathopanishad also, Nachiketa asked this question to Yama, and Yama asked, why are you asking me? Who else will ask? You are the person who will know. Because you are the person, Lord of death. You only know what happens after death. You please tell me. Who else will ask? Similarly, this knowledge should be asked to that guru who has experienced the immortal nature of the self, and such a person alone will be able to confirmly say it is true. Anybody else saying, any scholar is saying, will not be of any value to the person. It is said that even Ramana Maharshi, when he was so young also, he was surrounded by great scholars, very well-read scholars, and everybody wondered, these scholars, why are they going to him, who is only probably 25, 30 years old? Because they want confirmation. जो हम पढ़े हैं, वो ठीक है या नहीं? Whatever we have understood and read in the scriptures, is it true? What is your experience? So only experienced person can say that what you have read, what you have understood is correct. Even in Dakshinamurti Stotram, you see, Vatapitapi Samibe Bhumi Bhage Nishannam, and then in that very under the tree, who are the people who are sitting? Ante Vasad Rishiganehi Avridam Brahmanishtai Acharendram Karakalita Chinmudram Anandarupam. So that teacher Dakshinamurti is young while the students are old. Because they have studied so much, but young Bhagavan Shiva, because he has embodiment of the truth. They want confirmation from him. What we have read, is it true? So here, the guru who has the personal experience alone can help him. Therefore, Sharanyamanyat naham jani. I do not know who else to ask. Ataha ananya sharana ayam na udasitavyaha iti bhavaha. Ananya Sharanaha Ayam, this boy or the student who has come with nobody else to protect him, such a student, na udasitavyaha, to not be ignored by the teacher, by the guru, by the teacher. So we also saw in the verse number 37, the nature of the guru also mentioned. Shanta Mahanto Nivasanti Santo Vasantavallo Kahitam Charantaha Tirna Swayam Bhima Bhavarnavam Janan Anihetunan Anyana Vitarayam. The men of wisdom are even referred here as like that of the spring season. We all look forward to spring season after a very cold winter. We no doubt enjoy the winter, but after some time it really gets into us. See, when do we see greenery? When do we see sun? When do we see beautiful flowers? Now all are withered away, leaves are gone, trees are, dry. But always there is darkness in the sky. The sun is not seen clearly. Getting depressed, I have to drink more of Starbucks coffee. In that condition, when do we see the sun? So here, Shanta Mahantaha Nivasanti Santaha Vasantaha. Like the spring season, Lokahitam Charantaha. They always bring freshness and they always bring about great development of thought or very spiritual growth, the growth that is required for us to gain peace within. That's what they come to bring to us. They will bring to us. Lokahitam Charantaha. Vasantavat, like that of the spring. And they are Shantaha, men of peace. The peace is not something somebody has to give it to us. Peace, when you say wish you a happy new year, why not we say wish you a peaceful new year? Why don't we say it? Because peace cannot be given by anybody. Right? We also say to the person who's dead, R.I.P. Why? So long you live so agitated. Now, at least now rest in peace. Somebody asked me this question. What do you mean by R.I.P. song? I said, he is gone. The rest of the people are in peace. Rest in peace. Meaning, rest of the people are in peace. Until then, he is agitating them so much. So, peace, therefore, is not something which you can get it from somebody else. Nobody can give you. It is like sleep. Can anybody give you sleep? Of course, Vedanta, if you keep listening, you'll get it. But sleep, nobody can give you. Can anybody give you rest? Can anybody give you rest? That's why we say, I'm going to take rest. Because you have to take it. Nobody can give you. So peace also something which we need to claim. And one who has found peace, not because something happened outside, but because he has found the answer to the question of what is beyond death. That question has been, careful, there's a glass here. The question has been answered in his mind very clearly. That I know what happens to me. See, as we age and we come to a point where uncertainties are more and more than certainties. Body doesn't obey. People don't listen. So when uncertainties are coming closer to us, more and more, we are becoming more agitated. What's going to happen to me? What is beyond? After I leave the body, what will happen? Where am I going? That kind of a doubt, ambiguity is no more. I know exactly what it means. Is it not we get peace only when we are answered for the questions that we have no answers for so far? Therefore, Shantaha Mahantaha Nivasanti Santaha Santava Hitam Charantaha Swayam Bhima Bhavarnavam Tirnaha. Swayam by themselves. Bhima Bhava Arnavam, the vast ocean of change, having been transcended. Tirnaha, Swayam, oneself. Ahetuna Anyanabi Tarayanta. Janan. Anyan Jananabi Tarayanta. Only those people who have crossed over can really make others cross over. You know, it's a very interesting portion in the Ramayana. I think in Tulsi Ramayana more than in one, where this Kevat, you know, the boatman, was waiting, and then Sri Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana, they were to cross the Ganges to go to the other side. So they were about to get in. Then that Kevat says, "Don't, wait. Why? Because I want to wash your feet." Why do you want to wash my feet? Because I heard that because of the dust of your feet, Ahalya, who is only a stone, became a human form. And if you get into my boat turns to become a woman, what will I do? I'm already married. And this is the only boat I have, only my the only job I have. So I want to watch. So Rama was very amused by that and he smiled. But the Kevat has said while driving, while rowing the boat to the other side, Bhagavan, you have crossed many people, you have helped many people to cross to the higher realms of life. Now you are asking me to cross over these Ganges. How blessed I am, making you cross. When you have made everybody go over to the other side. In fact, Christ carrying the cross is what means. Cross. Cross over. Move from this limited living to the unlimited existence. That's what he was carrying there. So here, Anyana Vitarayanta. Others also they are capable and without any reason. Ahetuna. Ahetuna means it is not these gurus or these masters will teach only in reciprocation to something and not expecting anything. They help the people to cross to the other side of this mortality to immortality. And that is their swabha. That's why the next verse is beautifully put here. Verse number 40. Ayam swabhavah svatayeva yatpara Shramapanota pravanam mahatmanam Sudam Suresha Swayamirka Karshtasha Prabhavitaptam Avadikshite Kila Ayam Swabhavah Svatayeva Tatpara Shamapanoda Pravanam Mahatmanam Sudam Suresha Swayamarka Karkasha Prabhavitaptam Avadikshitim Kila Ayam Swabhava. This is the nature and spontaneous behavior of all the Mahatmas. Swabhava means what? Where you don't think and do it. It's so natural, spontaneous for them. What? That helping others to come out of their own ignorance and find a higher levels of consciousness is their Swabhava. Swataha eva yat para Shrama apanoda pravanam mahatmanam. Mahatmanam para shrama apanoda pravanam. Parashrama means of others' problems or difficulties. Apanoda. Apanoda means to extinguish, to nashanam or to remove. That is a pravanam. There is a pravanam here. The word meanings to those people who have surrendered to them humbly. Mahatmana. To those Mahatmas, it is Swabhava. It is like that of when during the sun, which is very scorching during the summer, Arka Karkasha Prabhavi Taptam Shitim. Shiti means earth. And this being scorched, Karkasha means completely scorched. What? By the Prabhavi Taptam Shitim, that very earth which is continuously being scorched by the summer heat, how the moonlight at the end of the day, in the night, how the moonlight, Sudam Suresh, Sudamshu means the very cool rays of the moon, Yeshaha, Shidim of the earth, how it is going to make it so cool, and that is given as Avati, protects. Thank God, at least there is something called night where sun is not there. The whole some places like where 6 months, 24 hours sunlight. Another 6 months, 24 hours no sun. You cannot live with it. Because such a heat, continuously sun is there, you cannot go to sleep. The whole place is heated up completely. And even plants won't survive. It is that plants are able to survive because there is a time to sleep. Even plants do sleep in the night. So it is believed that plants also take rest during the night because there is no sun. And that is why it is said, don't pluck the flowers during the night, because when they're sleeping, then you are going to disturb them. Plucking the leaves, plucking the flowers. So, night when it is cool, the moon rays are there to only cool down the earth. In the same way, the Mahatmas are those people who are capable of removing the ignorance caused all the various calamitous agitations and so much of Ashanti. So it is here, Katam tesham tattarane pravrittihi nirmitta pratyabhavadidi sankshayamaha ayam swabhava ityadina nahi swabhave karanam gaveshaniyam. Swabhave karanam na aveshaniyam. There is, when it is a swabhava of someone, you don't need to ask a reason. Yesterday morning only I was seeing Valmiki Ramayana. And where Sugriva had brought all the various monkeys to help Rama, Rama says, just like during the rainy season, rain is poured down by Indra, sun is giving the light in such a way that all the darkness are removed. In the same way, people like you, he tells Sugriva, people like you who are so good-hearted to help me, so much of monkeys are bringing. It is your swabhava. You're so nice a person who knows what I want and you are bringing it. So in the same way here, swabhava of the men of wisdom is to remove the afflictions of others. Nahi sarkaraya madhuryam kim nimittam yidi prashnaha vidyate. Especially you should ask Gujarati. Why the dal is sweet? Of course, we are Gujarati. What are you? So, sarkaraya madhuryam. Why sugar is sweet? Tell me. That's what it is. Sarkaraya madhuryam kim nimittam iti prashnaha no yujyate. Nobody asks why sugar is sweet. It is its nature. In the same way, tatra tasya swabhavikatva iti abhipraya. It is the swabhava. In the same way, the men of wisdom are those who are ready to help others to come out of their problem. Problem here does not mean I have a fight with the wife and husband. That is not what you're talking about. You do, and that is the problem with the people. They go to a doctor and only for medical problems. They go to a lawyer for legal problems, right? But they go to Mahatma for every problem. And they are expected to solve it also. My son is not listening to me. What do I do? What do I do? I don't know. You're asking me. It is not that they are going to solve the problem of husband, the problem. That is not. But they will go to the root problem. That is, you are thinking of. Think about it. Arjuna wanted to fight and then he came to the battlefield. And there, he said, I don't want to fight. Krishna had to tell him what? What is Krishna has to tell him? Okay, don't fight. Let's go fight. No, you have to fight. No, give me reason why I should fight. And why have you come to the battlefield first of all? Having asked me to come to the middle of the battlefield, making me the driver of your chariot, now you are saying, why should I fight? What a question to ask. But Bhagavan Krishna being what he was, what he is, he very, very, very carefully, joyfully, peacefully, intelligently answers that question. And what is the answer that he gave? Not that why should you fight because those fellows are useless people or they are all adharmic people, they are all evil. No. Fighting is your dharma. Not because they are wrong. It is your prime duty to protect your own people. Number one. Number two is, by doing that alone, your mind will become pure, you will become fit enough to gain the knowledge, and finally, with that knowledge, you will release yourself from your own bondage. Therefore, you fight. Right? It's not fighting is just for this immediate situation of solving a problem with the Kauravas. That is not what Krishna wanted to Arjuna. This is a situation come to you so that you can engage in the war with no ill will. This is your duty, therefore you do it. And by doing so alone, your mind will become free of anxieties. And that anxiety-free mind alone can gain knowledge. And with the knowledge alone, you can release yourself. Therefore, so if you go to a Mahatma and ask about, I have a problem with this person, that person, or with my husband or wife, etc., you will say the root problem is your individuality, your ego, your pride, your arrogance, your selfishness. But if you tell them, then nobody will come. Baba is the yeah, but what is he saying? So if you go to a doctor and say, I have a sugar problem, what do I do? Don't eat sugar. Doctor, give me some medicine, no, so that I can eat more. Isn't it true that nowadays allopathy is what you give the medicine and then you say insulin of the cow? Eat. Can he say don't eat? Then he won't come back. So, Noda Pravanam Pravesham Paresham Yat Ashramaha Dukkam Tasya Apanodaha Nivaranam Tatra Pravanam Bhava Pradanaha Nirdeshaha Pravana Bhavaha Pravanata Shaktata Vayagriyam Ityartha. Apanoda Pravanam. Apanoda means Paresham Yat Shramaha Dukkam Tasya Apanoda Nivaranam. Removal of the problem that the person is facing, especially the student is, as Gurudev writes, is not the student, is not a novice. Yep. This student is the one who has very intelligently observed his own life, as Gurudev puts it here. This young student has very intelligently observed life, and he has come to realize that there is no other method by which I can really come out of this problem. Problem of change, Baba. And how do I face the changes which are unavoidable? At the same time, I do not become the victim of this. How do I do it? Not that you just quit the world and then run away somewhere in the middle of in the Himalayan peaks and then stay alone. That's not the thing. How do I face the changes unavoidable at the same time not become victim? That you teach me. So here, yet I am swabhavaha mahatmanam swataheva para preranadikam tatra na apekshade ityartha. When somebody is requested him, he will not avoid it. Tatra krishtantam aha sudam surityadina. Therefore, the example is given. Arka karkasha prabhavi taptam arkasya suryasya ya karkasha tikshna prabha prakasha taya vidaha Sapta taptam shidim bhumim sudam shuhu amrita kirana chandraha yeshaha prasiddhaha samibavarti swayam para apreritaha avati rakshati kila iti prasiddho. Just like the heat of the sun has scorched the earth completely, but nobody is requesting the moon to come and do it. Isn't it? Arey, moon, please come, no. Come and take care of this problem. Yes, Swabhav. The nature of the moon to come and pull up the entire earth when it is heated up by the sun. So in the same way, here it is the nature of the Mahatmas to help out those people who really submit and really surrender, saying that, yes, I have experienced this kind of a scorching samsara that should be taken care by your own grace. And this grace, again the beautiful verse here 39. You understand one thing, this is Vedanta, all right. But Shankaracharya's poetic beauty is what you have seen. The way he puts, it's not the dry Vedanta, it is the beauty of Vedanta. But he puts, not only a poet, Gurudev used to say, he's a poet, philosopher, and a saint put together as a single mold. A poet can be there, he may not be a philosopher. A philosopher may be there, cannot be a poet. Poet, philosopher, and at the same time, he is a sannyasin also. That combination. And sannyasi also is a bhakta. Such a combination. A devotee, a man of knowledge, a poet, and that combination is so rare. So here in the 39th verse, he says how the student again explains why I have come to you for this knowledge. Brahmananda rasanubhuti kalitaihi bhuteshu shitairyutaihi yushmatma kalashonjitaihi shrutisukaihi vakyamrutai sechaya santaptam bhavatapadavathana jwalabirenam prabho dhanyaste bhavati kshana kshanagate patrikrita svikrita brahmanandarasanubhuti kalitaihi bhuteshu shitairyutaihi yushmatva kalashonjitaihi shrutisukaihi vakyamrutai sechaya santaptam bhavatapadavadahana jwalavirenam prabho dhanyaste bhavati kshanakade patrikrita svikrita. Te danyaha. They are really our blessed people. Bhava tikshna kshanagate patrikrita svikrita. They are really the blessed people who have become recipients of the graceful utterances of yours, and they are able to receive them. Svikritaha, patrikritaha. Those who have received, they have received, become recipients of that. Bhava dikshna kshanagate, your own graceful glances. But why is that your words are going to be so soulful, so soothing for them? Brahmananda rasana such an amount of adjectives he puts here. Vakya Amrita, that's fine. Your speech, your advice, your teaching is going to be of the nature of nectar. Vakya Amrutaihi Sechaya. Sprinkle with your words of wisdom, which is filled with immortality. Shruti Sukaihi, most pleasant to hear, coming out of your own mouth. Yushmat va kalasha ujjitai, coming out of your own mouth, and which is sushitaihi yutai, which is so cooling, udaihi, purified by what? Brahmananda rasana bhuti kalitai. Because your words are going to be pure and most cooling, and it's like immortal nectar, because it has been soaked in the joy of Brahman. Brahmananda rasanubhuti kalite. And by which santaptam bhavatapa davadahana jwala. By this, by the tongues of the tongues, especially when you see, you not see it much, but when during the summer or in October, the Santana rain, at that time you should see how the fire spreads. There may be arsenal. Somebody might have put cigarette and then that's it. A small spark it is, but thousands of acres it can burn. How? Because the forest fire is such that The fire spark one place, its small dry area it picks up. Then it starts to have like a tongue which is opened up, the tongue which is swallowing. It was gluttonous people when you see. With the tongue, they go on eating so much. In the same way, the tongues of fire, how it is burning the entire place. That's why he says, Jwala. Jwala means the flame, tongue of the flames. Santaptam bhavatapa dava dahana. Dava means this forest fire. Dahana jwala virenam prabho. Santaptam, for those people whose fire of existence, of this tormented existence, has been cooled down by your nectar of words, and those people are really indeed are Danyaha. They are the blessed ones indeed, those who have received this. He Prabhu Sarvashaktaha. Bhavadikshna Kshanagatehe Bhavatam Yadi Kshanam Dardayardra Vilokanam Tasya Kshanagatehe Kshanapraktehe Patrikrutaha Aspadi Krutaha. So it is said that a person of compassion, of infinite compassion, by the very look itself, other person will get relieved from all the various santa. Kshanagadehi Kshanaprakte Patrikrutaha Aspadi Yadva Bhavadam Yadi Kshanam Nayanam Tasya Kshanagadehi Kshana Samyogasya Patrikrutaha Ashrayi Buddha Shanamatram. Even for a moment, they are able to receive your graceful glance. They will become free of all their santapa. Shanamatram va bhavet netra pada lakshya idiyat. Netra pada lakshya, even the very simple pada, kshetra pada means even at your lotus feet also. Adaeva svikrutaha atmayatvena kradaha ye purushaha te danyaha. Those people are really indeed blessed. Tasmad ahamavi bhavat katakshena padita tamaha pavita tamascha tanyusma. See, the student must have a highest regard for the teacher, not only for the presence or the proximity of the teacher, but also the value of knowledge. The knowledge is the most valuable thing, not just the physical company of the Guru. Many people, when they go to Mahatmas, आप क्यों आए? आपकी सन्निधि में मैं बैठ रहा हूँ बस. I just want to sit in your presence. No doubt that also is very peaceful. But then the most important is, Upadesh. What that person is ready to give, that person is giving, and what you are ready to take. That is, you see, otherwise it is like going to a restaurant, reading the menu and come back. You go to the restaurant, take a cup of what I'm going to read the menu. Masala dosa. What do you? If you go to the restaurant, you must order the food and eat the food and come. In the same way, go to the Mahatma not just because he just look at him and come back. Even when you go to a temple or any place of worship, be there quietly to receive the grace of the Lord by tuning your mind to His presence. That is a maximum noise we produce there. And then push the people around and this and that, and beat everybody, and then by the time we come back, we will be more agitated than very. So here he says, Tasmad ahamavi bhavat katakshena paditadamaha. By this ignorance removed by kataksha drishti, pavida tamaha, purified. Iti suchayati, anyosmi, adikshipram samsarika agritapam, shisham piyushu evam prarthivati suchayati. Here you see, Katakshamatram mam swikrutam bhavatapa dava dahana jwalabhi bhavasya tapaha bhavatapaha samsara shokaha sayeva dava dahana managni tajwalabhi santaptam atyanta dantam enam purovartitam mam brahmananda eva rasa iva aswadyate iti rasa. See, Ananda, the word Ananda means bliss. Sukham means joy. We often mistake these three words, joy, happiness, and bliss. They are not the same. And there's one more word, pleasure. Pleasure is always external, come out of the senses. When sense contacts are taking place, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, etc., with another object of your pleasure, that is called pleasure, meaning it gives a momentary feeling of joy. Whereas when you achieve something which you are aspiring for, then that gives joy. Success gives you joy. Success is not pleasure. Success is joy. Sukham. Then comes happiness. Happiness comes out of contentment. Bas. Itna chahiye, usna. Let us say when you're eating, and at the end of the dinner, you finished eating and this stop. Your hunger is huge. I don't want any more. When you say I don't want any more, that is happiness. But not after some time, 4 hours later, you will eat. So happiness is not wanting any more. Contentment. Joy is achieving something which you want to achieve. Pleasure is born out of senses. But bliss is none of this. It is not a sense contact born pleasure, nor it is a successful achievement of something, nor even it is a mere temporary contentment. It is where you do not have any more desire for anything anymore. No more desire for anything. It's not just content. Which nahi chahiye, whatever it be. That is what is called bliss. We also experience this bliss when you go to sleep. In sleep, we are not experiencing joy, nor it is a pleasure, nor it is happiness. Correct? As I said, it is not a contentment. It is not a sense created pleasure, nor it is any achievement. What can you say? I successfully achieved sleep. The dog is more successful than you. It does for 8 hours, 10 hours every day. More successful than you. So true bliss is similar to that of the state of sleep, no doubt. But the problem is there, it ends. You know? Swamiji, I decided to sleep forever. That's not possible also. Prakritehe swabhavat. Swabhava, the Prakriti will wake you up. It will allow you to sleep further. Even though you would like to. But because of the tamas that is there, you go to the state of tamasic sleep, but the rajas and sattva will wake you up. So true bliss is where it has crossed all the three gunas. Sattva also cannot add to it. Rajas cannot add, disturb it. Tamas definitely you cannot pull you down. That is all Trigunakita Swarupa. That state is the bliss where none of the three gunas can have any effect on it. That is Ananda. That is called Brahma Ananda. Brahmananda Rasanubhuti. By that very swad, that's why he says, Aswadyate iti rasa. Where one has experienced that very taste of it, Mam Brahmananda eva rasa sviva aswadyate iti rasah tad anubhuti kalitaihi. Filled with that kind of an experience, tad anubhava mishraihi, mixed with that very Brahmananda anubhava, atayeva putaihi. Because of that Brahmananda, one's mind has become so purified, sakala kalmasha harakattvena pavitre, where there cannot be any more entry of impurity into that. See, anything that we clean, after some time it becomes impure. How much ever you clean, after some time it becomes dirty. But this Sukham is that, Brahmananda Sukham is that, having gained which there cannot be any entry of any impurity into that. That's why Pudai Nahi Jnanena Sadrisham Pavitram He Vidyate is Smriti. Bhagavan Shankara Krishna has said in Gita, there is nothing purifying, nothing purifying. Now, the other day, we had a camp, that PFC. Very interestingly, that our that very gave a beautiful example. What is the color of this clothes? Okay. Now I asked you to see not orange in this. Anything blue, green. See. Can you? Because once you have the knowledge it is orange, you cannot change it. You cannot decide to see it as blue or green. Because once the knowledge has come, it is not possible for you to eliminate that. In the same way, this Brahmananda or the bliss of Brahman having been experienced and having been known that it is my own, nobody else has any access to it. Meaning, nobody can disturb it. Gita also says, right? Having reached which I cannot be moved by anything. Not even Guruna abhina vichalyate. Even the heaviest sorrow cannot move it. So having reached that Brahmananda Sukham, having experienced it, no other evil thought can come and pollute it. It cannot even enter there. It is like this. When I have a light so much, can bring darkness from outside. Let us see. Can you bring it? Where there is light, you cannot bring darkness. Where there is darkness, you can bring light. But where there is light, you cannot bring darkness. In the same way, where there is bliss, you cannot bring anything else. Therefore, it is that knowledge that has brought about such a purity cannot be polluted by anything else. Tadrsha jnanavat vakyanam sakala papa apaharaka jnana upadesha rupatvena bhutatvam, that in the form of advice of that knowledge, which is of the nature of purity, which is the destroyer of all kind of impurities, sushidaihi antaranam adhyatmika adhidaivika adhibhaudika tapanam nashakatvat. Three different kinds of calamities that can come to us in the form of those calamities that are created by the divine interventions, those calamities that can be caused by the world around us, other living beings, or wonderful thing is there inside us which can constantly create trouble. Even if the other two are quiet, this one will start. All the three of them are destroyed by this knowledge. Sitaihi rajastamo marga nivartana dwara sorry, sattva marga eka papakatvena nirmalaihi, one which is leading to the path of sattva in the absence of rajas and tamas. Yushmat vak kala shodhitaihi, yushmakam vak yushmat vak Vagindriyam tatsthanam mukham va sa eva kalashaka gataha tado nirgalanti वाक्य अमृतानि इति तेन उज्जितैः विसृष्टैः श्रुतिसुखैः कर्णानन्ददायकैः वाक्यामृतैः वाक्यानि एव अमृतानि तैः इत्यर्थः सेचय मां सिञ्चय इत्यर्थः सिञ्चयति. Such an individual who is blissfully experiencing his own nature, from his own mouth comes out those words which are of the nature of immortality, nectar. With that, please sprinkle me, because of which I will be able to come out of this very tapa, the impurities or the calamities. See, Shruti Sukam means Shravanakale api, Shravanakale Sukam. What Shruti Sukam? Knowledge is that should release you right there, immediately. Many times we think that, oh, आपने अभी सुन लिया और बाद में आपको सोचना है, practice करना है. See, why there is a distance between knowledge and experience? Because we think knowledge has to be practiced to become experience. After learning something, I need to now start practicing, and that after practice only I will get the result. The reason why there is a gap is because why Shravana Kalena Sukham Bhavati? Why at the time of listening itself we are not experiencing it? Because our mind is resisting. Our mind is having all the vasanas and impurities. If the impurities are not there, vasanas are not there, Shravana Kale bhi Muktaha Bhavati. Even while listening itself will become free. There's no need to wait. It is like a shock, you put your hand in the open slot, open socket, and then when you put it in, will it take some time? Okay, wait. Now the current has come in. What will happen? Let me then think about it for 2-3 hours. Right there. In the same way, knowledge is that which clears the cloud of what you call clouds of all our imperfect thinking. And for that to happen, the student must have absolute faith in what is being said. If the impurity of doubt is there, or if there is a distrust about the statements in the scriptures or in the teacher, then there will be delay. So what is he saying here? Shruti Sukham. That's what he puts here. Shruti Sukhairapi Shravana Kale Ebi Ananda Karaihi. Listening itself, it can give you the great joy. Tadartam anusandhaya yad anubhavaha utpatyade tadatvikaha ananda kimumokshavyati. So those people who are able to gain this knowledge while listening to the teacher itself, they danyaha, are the most blessed people. Finally, the student says, how do I, tell me one thing, is there a solution to my problem? Because I am going through this, as Gurudev, as I said earlier, this also, that he wants to know from the Guru what exactly should be the path for him. He's not a person who is, it's a type of a question the student should ask them is approaching the master. He has neither despaired because of the unsurmountable difficulties experienced by him, nor is he ready to make any compromise with the truth. He has analyzed his experiences in life and has come to the conclusion that in the objects cannot give him anything but finite satisfaction. He has looked within himself and has estimated correctly his own demands in life as nothing short of infinite perfection, which alone can yield him the infinite happiness. He wants to know from the master how he can come to experience the infinite and thereby gain the complete transcendence of the finite. Hence he asked, how can I cross the ocean of space? So it is not he was asked by somebody else to ask the question, nor he is asking the question just as intellectual curiosity. He is asking because I want to hear about it. So that is going to be stated in the next. How do I come out? Is there a real way to come out of this? Let's see that in the next. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम श्री